December 8, 1941. President Roosevelt signed America into war, but history wasn't made in Washington alone. But the real story lives in daily moments, captured in rare photographs. Subscribe to see what history books left out. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the declaration of war against Japan one day after Pearl Harbor. The historic document was prepared in the White House. This signature committed America to World War II. This propaganda poster invoked Lincoln's Gettysburg Address to rally Americans after Pearl Harbor. The tattered flag symbolized destruction and sacrifice. Artist Alan Sahlberg created it for the Office of War Information. James Montgomery Flagg created the iconic Uncle Sam recruitment poster for World War I. The stern figure pointed directly at viewers with "I want you" message. It was reused successfully during World War II. Artist McClellan Barclay created this Navy recruitment poster after Pearl Harbor. The muscular sailor loading artillery symbolized American strength. Barclay himself served as a Navy Reserve officer during the war. Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini rode through Munich during an official state visit. Large crowds gathered to witness the Axis leader's public appearance. This photograph documents the alliance between Germany and Italy. The German airship Graf Zeppelin flew close to Britain's coastline in 1931. This occurred 8 years before World War II officially started. The airship's presence near British shores created tension among observers. Men of the 8th Battalion Lancashire Fusiliers posed in uniform during 1939. World War II officially began September 1, 1939 and ended September 2, 1945. Related conflicts continued beyond these dates. A group of evacuees arrived in East Anglia from London on September 1, 1939. War was declared 2 days later, beginning 6 years of conflict. Children carried gas masks and belongings. Children prepared for evacuation, carrying gas masks and belongings in named pillowcases. Around 1.5 million people relocated to safety when war was declared. Evacuees struggled adjusting away from their families and homes. A newly constructed Anderson shelter stood in a Newcastle backyard awaiting air raids. Families received warnings about imminent attacks and sought protection in corrugated metal bunkers. The shelters saved thousands of lives. Before we continue, hit subscribe to explore more hidden frames from history. Coming up, women who built warships, flew aircraft parts, and changed America forever. And quick question, could your grandmother have done these jobs? Comment below. Steel Savage depicted 4 women representing WS, Waves, Marines, and Coast Guard branches. The poster urged women to enlist for country and future opportunity. Over 350,000 women served in uniform during the war. Howard Miller created this Westinghouse poster to boost female worker morale during wartime production. The image remained internal until rediscovered in the 1980s. It became an enduring symbol of women's empowerment and strength. Women from various professions attended vocational schools to learn aircraft construction. Housewives, secretaries, and waitresses trained for war work. These skills transformed them into essential defense industry workers. Women workers prepared transparent nose sections for A-20 attack bombers. Factory lights reflected off glass components destined for combat missions. Douglas Aircraft employed thousands of women during wartime production. A female riveter assembled aircraft components at Lockheed's wartime facility. Women mastered precision metalwork previously considered men's jobs. Their expertise proved essential to aircraft production goals. Female workers welded ship components at American shipyards during peak wartime production. Women filled positions left by men serving overseas. Their contributions proved invaluable to naval construction efforts. Female welders posed during their break at a Mississippi shipyard. They wore protective helmets while building vessels for war. Over 6 million women entered the workforce during this period. Women operated pneumatic drills at a wartime shipbuilding facility. They wore protective goggles while working at high scaffolding. These positions required technical training previously denied to women. 2 women operated heavy machinery on the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad during wartime. They replaced male workers who left for military service overseas. Their technical skills challenged traditional workplace boundaries. 5 African American women worked as railroad maintenance crew during World War II. They held shovels and performed heavy labor previously reserved for men. Their contribution supported critical wartime transportation networks. Women wore gas masks while cleaning blast furnaces at an Indiana steel plant. The dangerous work exposed them to extreme heat and harmful fumes. Specially designed protective gear was developed for them. A female worker fitted exploders into artillery shells at a British munitions facility. The Chorley factory employed between 35,000 and 40,000 workers. Britain conscripted women for industrial war work. 2 women displayed a workplace safety poster documenting eye injuries at their factory. The sign reported over 2,000 workers injured the previous month. Their demonstration highlighted new safety equipment. 2 women loaded military supplies at the Savannah Quartermaster Depot. They handled heavy equipment destined for overseas troops. Their labor proved essential to maintaining military supply chains. Female mechanics inspected an aircraft engine during maintenance training at a military facility. By 1943, women comprised a significant portion of aviation crews. Their expertise kept aircraft operational. Bevan Boy Hubert Claude Morgan installed roof supports at a coal face near Canterbury. The 18-year-old received training as part of Britain's wartime coal mining program. Young men addressed labor shortages. Women's Land Army members plowed reclaimed fenland in Cambridgeshire using an international tractor. They worked 15 inches deep to cultivate farmland for food production. The WLA replaced male agricultural workers. She pushed the cart with an easy smile, carrying her share of the day's work through streets. In her steady steps lies quiet resilience. Ordinary moments helped hold communities together in uncertain times. British Honduran forestry workers spoke with manager John Dunbar after their shift in Scotland. They addressed wartime labor shortages in Britain's timber industry. The workers traveled from Central America to support the effort. A worker tightened bolts on a submarine hull at Electric Boat Shipyard in Groton. The facility produced over 70 submarines during World War II. Groton became known as Submarine Capital of the World. Families waited to register for sugar ration books after Pearl Harbor cut off Philippine supplies. Each person received 26 pounds annually, half their pre-war consumption. Sugar was the first food rationed in America. A young student learned to use War Ration Book 2 as parents worked in factories. Children helped with family shopping using coupon books. Schools taught rationing facts to an entire generation. Children harvested vegetables from a garden as part of the Dig for Victory campaign. Food rationing began January 1940, encouraging families to grow their own produce. Young people contributed by cultivating vegetables. Homefront posters encouraged citizens to collect scrap metal for military production. The Statue of Liberty imagery symbolized patriotic duty. Recycled materials were essential for manufacturing tanks, ships, and aircraft. Movie star Rita Hayworth donated her car bumpers for the war effort. The publicity stunt encouraged civilians to contribute metal for military production. Hayworth also sold war bonds throughout the conflict. boy helped adults collect metal railings for recycling during a wartime scrap drive. Communities donated iron fences and pans for military equipment production. The government encouraged citizens to sacrifice metal. Women and girls posed with collected metal railings and household items for recycling. Communities organized scrap drives as patriotic events with performers and competitions. Towns competed to collect most materials. Children climbed on piles of scrap metal collected for the war effort. Boy Scouts and schools organized regular drives for paper, tin cans, and rubber. Communities melted down Civil War cannons. Civilians carried scrap metal and rubber through city streets during a collection drive. The nationwide rubber drive in June 1942 collected 450,000 tons of material. Citizens received 1 penny per pound. A man dug an air raid shelter in his backyard during the 1940s. Families constructed these protective structures in response to air raid alerts. Excavated earth created protective barriers. Air raid wardens posed for a photograph wearing protective gear and helmets. Local councils organized wardens, messengers, and rescue parties for civil defense operations. They reported bombing incidents and coordinated emergency responses. A family gathered around their table inside a prefabricated emergency home during wartime. Over 200,000 houses were destroyed by bombing, requiring temporary housing solutions. Britain recorded 34 million address changes. Civilians gathered near damaged buildings after air raids on Birmingham during the Blitz. German bombers dropped 152 tons of explosives on the city. Reconstruction required many years to complete. A cafe owner sold tea from a street cart during the London Blitz. Civilians gathered for hot drinks amid bomb-damaged streets and debris. The vendor provided refreshment and morale support during raids. A YMCA mobile canteen served tea to civilians after bombing damaged Brunswick Street. Women's auxiliary teams distributed hot drinks from vans during air raids. The sign read, "Tea revives you," for morale. 2 girls read together sitting on a downed aircraft wing during summer 1940. German bombers began air attacks after France fell, creating invasion fears. Southern England experienced the Battle of Britain from their backyards. Girls from St. George's School in Battersea attended an outdoor sewing class while evacuated. Many school buildings were damaged or requisitioned for military use. Lessons were held in chapels, pubs, and outdoors. British gunners rushed to man a 9.2-inch coastal defense gun at Needles Battery. Anti-invasion defenses were constructed across Britain's coastline between 1940 and 1941. Many concrete fortifications remain visible today. Sergeant Ernest Docherty wrote letters from his tented camp in Hampshire before D-Day invasion. British forces stayed in woodland camps and civilian homes across southern England. Training sites later revealed unexploded weapons and ammunition. The submarine USS Robalo launched sideways into water at Manitowoc Shipbuilding Company. This Wisconsin facility used unique side launch methods for submarines during wartime. The vessel completed 3 war patrols before being lost. Still watching? Good. Subscribe now, because what's coming next deserves attention. Internment camps, refugee journeys, and forgotten stories that shaped World War II. This is history they rarely teach in schools. Artist Ben Shahn created this poster showing French workers under Nazi occupation. The Vichy decree visible behind them symbolized forced labor. This warned Americans about defeat's consequences during World War II. Frederick Siebel designed this warning poster about careless talk during wartime. The drowning hand illustrated serious consequences of sharing sensitive information with enemies. It won a national security poster competition. Dorothea Lange photographed young Yuki Okinaga waiting with family luggage at an assembly center. Executive Order 9066 forced approximately 120,000 Japanese Americans into internment camps. Japanese Americans arrived by train at Santa Anita Assembly Center from San Pedro. Soldiers monitored the process. Their government-ordered relocation following Executive Order 9066. Most internees were United States citizens of Japanese descent. Japanese Americans gathered within fenced perimeters at Santa Anita Assembly Center. Following Pearl Harbor, anti-Japanese sentiment led to large-scale confinement of over 120,000 people. Most detainees were American citizens. An American flag flew over barracks at Manzanar War Relocation Center in California. Dust storms frequently swept through the desert camp, holding over 11,000 people. The site is now a National Historic Site. President Harry Truman saluted a Japanese-American combat unit during a formal ceremony. The 402nd Regimental Combat Team became the most decorated unit in American military history. Around 18,000 Japanese Americans served. Donald Livermore held his daughter Lorraine before departing for World War II. The serviceman wore his uniform and slouch hat on the front veranda. Father and daughter faced opposite directions. 3 men in military uniforms posed outside a house in Moonee Ponds during 1941. By early 1942, Japanese forces threatened Australia's northern coastline. Melbourne stationed 30,000 American troops citywide. Sybil Oakes and friends entertained Canadian servicemen with a picnic in Sassafras in 1944. The radar mechanic wore civilian clothes while hosting troops stationed in Melbourne. They traveled by train. Australian nurses arrived by ship in Singapore during October 1941. They traveled to the British colony to provide medical support for Allied forces. Japan would attack Singapore just 2 months later. British children evacuated to America read newspapers about the London Blitz at home. Young evacuees gathered around the paper reporting on air raids back in Britain. They lived safely abroad. Children played on a seesaw at El Shat refugee camp in Egypt's desert. Over 30,000 people lived in the camp, where many faced difficult conditions. Families created normally activities. A mother sat with her children inside their tent at El Shat refugee camp. Over 40,000 civilians fled across the Mediterranean seeking shelter from German forces. The camp housed families who escaped. Women and children posed in traditional dress at El Shat refugee camp in Egypt. The camp recorded 300 marriages and 650 births during its operation. Most refugees returned to Yugoslavia in 1946. General Douglas MacArthur surveyed the beachhead after American forces landed on Leyte Island. This moment fulfilled his famous promise, "I shall return to the Philippines." The Liberation Armada began reclaiming Japanese-occupied territory. Sergeant J. Dickinson from Canada and Sergeant Leslie Francis Gilkes from Trinidad shared a moment before a Hamburg raid. Gilkes served as an air gunner with Nyaap Squadron. He lost his life on August 3, 1943. American soldiers gathered around a piano singing in Monteglise Street on August 10, 1944. 2 GIs wore 2nd Armored Division insignia, which had just arrived. Troops entertained themselves after liberating the town. Seabees of the 50th Battalion attended candlelit Holy Communion on Christmas Eve, 1944. The men knelt on sandbags in a canvas chapel, bowing their heads. Naval construction battalions replaced civilian workers. Women's Army Auxiliary Corps members trained on overhead ladders at Fort Oglethorpe. They swung from bar to bar as part of intensive physical conditioning. The obstacle course built strength and endurance. Marine Corps Private First Class Natalie Slack and Corporal Dean Stidham posed on deck. They wore tan overalls nicknamed peanut suits during transport to Hawaii. The photograph captured Marines heading to Pacific operations. Future President Gerald Ford played basketball on the aircraft carrier USS Monterey's elevator. Ford served as lieutenant commander and athletic officer for the ship's crew. The vessel supported major operations in the Pacific. An Army nurse provided therapeutic treatment to an injured soldier recovering after frontline service. Military hospitals employed thousands of female medical staff during wartime. Their care helped rehabilitate servicemen for duty. Singer Bing Crosby performed for Allied troops at the Stage Door Canteen in London. Volunteers ran the club, providing entertainment and refreshments for servicemen. The venue encouraged racial integration despite segregation. Entertainer Danny Kaye performed for 4,000 Marines in Sasebo shortly after World War II. The stage sign read, "Officers keep out enlisted men's country," for the show. Kaye toured extensively despite rejection. Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin met at Yalta to plan Germany's final defeat. The leaders sat together on the palace patio discussing post-war Europe. This conference shaped the Cold War boundaries. General Dwight Eisenhower led Operation Overlord as Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. His headquarters coordinated all Western Front operations. Eisenhower commanded forces from D-Day through Germany's surrender in May 1945. Supreme Allied commanders posed together after Germany's defeat. Seated are Simpson, Patton, Spaatz, Eisenhower, Bradley, Hodges, and Jarrow. These generals coordinated the successful Allied campaign across Europe. Parisian women welcomed Allied soldiers on August 25, 1944, after Paris liberation. Crowds celebrated the end of German occupation in city streets. The joyful reunion marked a turning point in freedom. A neighborhood street party celebrated victory in Europe Day in May 1945. Communities gathered across Britain to mark Germany's official surrender and end of European fighting. Union Jack flags decorated streets. People danced around a celebratory fire during victory in Europe Day celebrations on May 8, 1945. Thousands of street parties occurred across the country despite continued food rationing. Navy sailor George Mendonça kissed dental assistant Greta Zimmer Friedman in Times Square. The spontaneous moment captured joy as news of Japan's surrender broke on August 14, 1945. Victor Jorgensen photographed it. An American serviceman married his British bride during the height of World War II. Thousands of such marriages occurred as American troops stationed in Britain formed relationships. The bride wore a fur coat for the ceremony. A nurse consulted with a mother and infant at a National Health Service clinic. The NHS was introduced in 1948, providing free health care to all British citizens. Labour's 1945 election victory paved reform. Children used swings and playground equipment at El Shat refugee camp in Egypt's desert. Over 30,000 people lived at the camp fleeing German invasion of southeastern Europe. Tragically, 825 people passed away. Thank you for watching this journey through forgotten history. These rare photos prove that every moment matters. Every face tells a story. Subscribe and like for more hidden historical secrets. Comment below. Which photo shocked you most? See you next time.